Good morning, good morning. It's day 20 in vlog every day in February. Yay, day 20. Which means that February is almost over. What the hell happened? That's crazy. So today's prompt is 3 things that have changed you. And I thought about this a lot. You know, I have 3 demon spawn, and obviously they changed me, each one in their own way, especially the youngest because she's my only girl. And that has so changed the way that I look at how we treat little girls. But, you know, of course I want to go a little deeper than that. So I really thought about it. And so I would say the first thing that really truly changed me was my grandmother dying. She died when I was 20, and I got married super young. I got married when I was 18, divorced at 20. And her dying is what spawned that whole thing. Like, I was living in Illinois. My grandma was real sick, and, you know, I got the call that I needed to come, and, you know, I sat there for, I don't even know, 2 weeks or something, and watched her slowly suffocate. But in the time that I sat there, I thought about her a lot, and I thought about how she and my grandfather had divorced like 10 years prior, and he was the love of her life. You know, he cheated on her, and that sucked, and she was absolutely miserable for that last 10 years. She became like completely agoraphobic. Like, she would tell me stories about, you know, her life prior to that. Sorry, my camera keeps like going crazy with the light. Maybe that'll help. It's like, it's dark, it's light. It's dark, it's light. So she had like a kind of an amazing life. Like, she was a pinup girl, and she, like, had this, she was amazing, and I thought she was amazing. I don't know, my mom might have a different opinion. But she was absolutely miserable, and like I said, she was completely agoraphobic. At the end, she like would refuse to leave her house. Like, she sold her car to my dad, and then that was pretty much it for her. She holed up in her house and chain smoked, and, you know, drank watered down coffee followed by watered down vodka. and wrote down barometric pressures all day from the Weather Channel, and that was her life. And that, sitting there watching her die and thinking about how that was her life, like, that was horrifying to me, and made me think about my life and how I was at the tender age of 20, like, not really living, you know. I was just going through the motions. I mean, I was, you know, I worked at an insurance company, and I went to school, and that was pretty much my life. And I was married, and, you know, like, and I was like, no, I will not live like this. I will actually live. And I realized how miserable I was. And so I left my husband and moved back to Colorado. And man, this light is really bugging me. Let's try, over here, maybe. Maybe we'll try that. And started over. And that was because of her dying. And since then, anytime that I'm in sort of a slump, or I just feel like I'm going through the motions and not actually, you know, living to the fullest, I remember her, and I remember her life, and I don't want that ever for myself, for my kids, for anyone, really. Like, no, you gotta live it. Live it, live it, live it. So that changed me. So then the second thing is my mom marrying her third husband, who came complete with 2 boys. I was 13 when they got married. And of course it was, I was 13 and hormonal and awful. And thought the world revolved around me, as 13-year-old girls do, which is another thing that I'm freaking out about, having a girl. Because I have an 18-year-old boy and I have a 13-year-old boy. And they're both pretty easy peasy. When Drusilla gets to the point of hormone flexes, I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe start day drinking. Or doing heroin. I don't know. I asked her a couple weeks ago, I got in her face like, Drusilla, I need you to promise me that 5 years from now, when you are 13, that you will never ever hate me, okay? Or you will love me as much as you love me right now. Please, promise me. And she was like, okay, Mama, I always love you. I'm like super paranoid about it. But so my mom married this man who came with 2 boys, and my oldest brother, he's 8 years older than me, so he moved out of the house when I was young, and moved in with his dad, and so I suddenly had brothers. So that came with its own share of nonsense, right? Like step parents are never, rarely, it's a rare situation if you have a step parent that that there's no, growing pains or anything. They just pop in all freaking Brady Bunch and everyone's happy. But that's not it. That's not what changed it. My brother, Adrian, one of these boys they came with, is the reason that I am an artist today. Because Adrian sort of has shoved me into it, which is pretty amazing. My very first actual paintings that actual full paintings that I ever did, were because Adrian's aunt was writing a book. She's a psychologist, specializing in Jungian archetypes. And she was writing a book on archetypes and astrology, I think. Excuse me. And needed art. And so Adrian was like, hey, talk to my sister. And she did, and I did these 12 paintings for her, and they were terrible. I look back on them now and I'm like, oh God, those are in a book. They were awful. But if it weren't for Adrian, I never would have become an artist. Because my oldest brother is an artist and he is fucking incredible. And my cousin is an artist and he is fucking incredible. And my cousin has stuff hanging in the Smithsonian. And so, I wanted to write books. I still want to write books, but I thought, okay, so I'll push my creative energy towards music and writing and shitty poetry. I wish I still had some of my shitty poetry, but I don't. I threw it all away. In one move or another, I've moved 100 times. So Adrian was like, you can do this. And then I started tattooing because Adrian was like, I want you to tattoo me. And I still haven't tattooed him, but and I don't really tattoo much anymore. Like I said, my shop is closed, and so it is illegal for me to tattoo now because I don't have a license. Plus all my stuff's packed away. But yeah, if it weren't for Adrian, I wouldn't be doing art as a job, which I can't even imagine not doing, So without my mom marrying that man, and without dealing with, that time he called me a bitch, which, whatever. I was probably being a bitch. But without that, yeah, I wouldn't be where I am. And there's also, other stuff that happened during that time, like my dad leaving and me being homeless for a summer and my mom having to come and rescue me. And at the same time, my, brother's new stepdad getting, kicking his ass and them having to rescue them all in this, like the same weekend. Lovely. But and that, made me strong and independent. And, when you're 14 and living in a house with no electricity or water, stuff like day-to-day stresses are just sort of, immaterial. So yeah, that definitely changed me too. And all the, meeting my the man flesh, my husband, I say new husband, but we've been married for 15 years. You're my new husband, babe. That obviously changed me. And, my kids obviously changed me. But the third big one is yoga. And because, I talked on the day of stillness about how difficult silence is for me. But in yoga, it's not difficult at all. Even in the silent moments, in the, moments of reflection and the moments of meditation and whatever, there's no difficulty. It's just easy. And it's definitely bringing me more in touch with my body, for one thing. Like, I definitely feel more connected to my skin instead of feeling like I'm just floating above it all the time, and it does things that I never thought that it could do, like headstands, and holding poses for 5 minutes or whatever, doing that yin yoga that Donna loves so much. But being able to find stillness is huge for me because my brain is a cracked out chihuahua and constantly like, hey, oh my God, look. So being able to just be like, is sort of, is definitely life-changing. And realizing that I'm just where I need to be because that's where I am is easier when I'm doing yoga. So, because that's, we all are just where we need to be, right? Because that's where we are. So yeah, there are so many other things that I could say, but those are probably the three biggest ones. And being born is kind of awesome. So I'm so surprised that I did not have a cameo from a child. I guess I need to go wake them up. It's almost 10 o'clock, but it's their last day of leisure. They've been off all week, and tomorrow tonight they stay up late, and then they get up super early tomorrow so that they'll be tired tomorrow night, which is my normal coming off of vacation thing. They have to get no sleep the night before so that they'll be nice and tired and can get up early for school the next day. So yay, back to school in a couple days, and yeah, I can actually get work done. That'll be awesome. I've been making lots of stencils. That's easy to do while they're here, and I'm super, super excited, like, especially about this one. You can't really see it, but it is a skull. And yay. Yeah, here, it's on this page. Look at that. I'm so excited about that. So yeah, I've been doing that while they're out, like, here, being noisy. So, so that's good. So anyway, I am babbling. I'm sorry this is so long, and I hope your day is awesome. And I would say life-changing, but God knows we can't handle that every day. So have a wonderful Saturday, and I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Mwah, bye, 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 bye.